Welcome to episode 13.
13.
Lucky 13, unlucky 13, whichever way you look at,
Kleb.
Glass half full.
When you think of 13, who do you think of?
Number 13. I think of Gerd Muller. How do you like me now?
I don't think of Gerd.
I think of Gerd Muller, one of the best strikers to ever do it. The bomber.
Before you were born.
It doesn't matter. He's still one of the best strikers to ever do it. Probably the best poacher of all time. You kids out there, or you millennials out there.
When
just
I
look him
think
up.
of 13, I think of Kleb.
Kleb.
What a baller, fam.
He can't even shine.
I didn't want him to sign it, but when it was my Arsenal days, you know the days when Arsenal had creativity in abundance. Yeah. Kleb, Ziski, them man. Oh, sad.
When I take you back to the best German team of all time, the 70s. That's what Gerd Muller's about. Franz Beckenbauer, the best defender of all time. Guy who played
Beckenbauer is the best defender of all time.
It's quite clear. Guy who played in Pele's era, quite as kept, but Pele played with farmers and accountants. But that's a story for a different day.
That's a couple eras mixed up together there.
That's it.
Because Pele's a 60s man.
No, Pele played. So was Beckenbauer. Beckenbauer played the 1966 World Cup. 66 World Cup. He played the 1970 World Cup.
But his best years were in what decade?
He played in both.
What was his best years in?
He played in. He started off in. I think it was 21 in 66. Obviously by 70 he was 25.
Defenders mature later.
At 74, he was a midfielder at first. In his absolute peak of his powers, admittedly, he was 74. And so by then Pele had finished because Pele was 58. But he still played in Pele's era.
They coincided like Harley.
No, basically half his career, half his best years. Half his best years. But if I take you back,
is 74.
His absolute peak 74.
And Pele was not balling.
But I'll tell you another defender. Who's the best English defender of all time?
Bobby Moore.
Bobby Moore. He played in Pele's era. And you ask him. Or,
let me not say anything bad about Bobby Moore. That's an English legend.
He played in Pele's, and you ask him, you read these quotes on Pele's, and what he says. Damn.
It's unfortunate that he's not here to.
Well, he said it. He's already said it, G.
It's unfortunate he can't hear.
Hey, speaking of Pele, it was his birthday a few days ago. 80, I believe.
If you think I'm going to say happy birthday to Pele.
You should say happy birthday. 80.
I could call the pod happy birthday to Pele.
You should. Happy birthday, Pele.
I want to say happy birthday.
The GOAT, Pele, undisputed.
Say happy birthday. But shout out to you for living this long, bruv. You done a lot.
Yeah, he done a lot for the game.
He's done a lot for
him, the game wouldn't be here.
Let's not talk about football right now, man. Let's talk about the big event this weekend. Island.
The event last weekend.
Last weekend?
Yeah, that's when Khabib and Gaethje fought.
No, it was this weekend.
It was last weekend.
It was this weekend.
Was it? Oh, yeah, fair enough. Fair play.
Wow, man, you're a busy man, fam.
It's been a long day, mate. It's been a long day.
Time flies quickly.
So I like it. The days are going quick. That means progression. That's what I like. I want to hear. I want days to go quick. I want this year to get done. Get out of here. Next year, come through.
What, you think next year's going to be any different to this year?
Well, I don't think the first half will be. But, that's a story for a different day. I don't want to talk about that topic.
Oh, what? You got controversial. This won't go on YouTube. Might start talking.
if Melo starts putting his opinion on
it, he starts talking, this ain't going on the YouTube.
Nah, that's what you got my guy T for. He's
been there.
My guy, shout out to
dropping knowledge.
Coach Melo Eyes, my guy.
So I like to hear. So
the other Melo.
What did you think about UFC changing the fight times to a more British friendly time?
They cater to their constituency, It's smart. Especially like I said before, in these times, the fight game, you have to in all sports, you have to maximize revenue because there's no live gate. You have to look in all different ways in order to maximize revenue, and those are one of the ways. You make a time that caters towards the European market, which is one of the biggest markets that will watch the UFC fight game. The guys that will pay, guys that won't go watch the matches through nefarious avenues or nefarious ways. And so that's what they did. So I'm really up for that. I mean, I wish boxing would do that as well. Even though watching the Lomachenko and Lopez fight, waking up at 4 o'clock in the morning is a hard ask.
It's because it's an American market. That's what they.
Sure.
Boxing is catered to them, but don't worry. They're starting to learn.
They can bring it back.
They're starting to learn. The Americans know that the British market is a big market now, man.
They could still bring it back a few hours, like a 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock.
I'm actually seeing Sky Sports and BT are not really pushing for these big fights anymore. I think Kell Brook was a bit upset this week that he wasn't fighting on Sky.
I watched one of Eddie Hearn's interviews. We'll probably talk about this next episode as the fight gets closer. Basically, there's a lot of stuff happening behind the scenes. Apparently, Eddie Hearn claims Kell Brook basically snaked them. He went behind his back to try to get deals with Bob Arum. And the way Eddie Hearn is, I'm loyal to you as long as you're loyal to me. Once you walk away from me, turn your back on me, don't come back. And they went to Bob Arum to try to sort out the fight. Then they came to British to try pitch it to them to BT and Sky Sports, blah blah blah. He actually broadcast the fight, and obviously Eddie Hearn and Sky Sports are basically like that. So
they're boys, man. Eddie Hearn is in
that's
charge of this game here.
That's their main partner, and so when Kell Brook came to Sky Sports, Eddie Hearn was like, nah. I mean, to be honest, obviously if the money made sense, he would have allowed for it, but the money didn't make sense, so he didn't
even push it at all.
Yeah, it's crazy.
He didn't even push it at all. That's a bit mad, you know. Because Kell Brook's now not gonna be fighting in front of any fans.
No fans. You want me to watch it through? Well, as it stands right now, you want me to watch it through the main British broadcasting streams, like Sky Sports, BT. You know, it's gonna be. I mean, to be honest, that fight. I hope he wins because he's one of my favorite UK fighters. He was, but Terence Crawford is on a different level, and Kell Brook is on the decline. And his coach, his trainer Dominic Ingle won't be there as well. So you know, he's not. That's already the built-in excuse, I guess, for him.
I don't expect him to win.
And he's also fighting at 147, which he hasn't fought at the last 3 fights. He was a big welter before he struggled to make the weight. I mean, he says he's been training for 6-7 months. I hope he has, because Terence Crawford's on another level. I mean, you saw how Terence Crawford got rid of Amir Khan, made him quit. I mean, Terence Crawford is probably the best fighter in the world right now. I mean, especially with Lomachenko's loss. I mean, you still got him.
He's number one pound for pound.
You got Canelo, you got Tyson Fury, I guess, but Terence Crawford, that boy is a mean boy. I mean, I still have Errol Spence up there right with him as well. Especially at the welterweight level, Errol Spence has done more. He's beat Kell Brook more in his prime. He's beat Sean Porter, even though it was a tough fight, but Sean Porter is a tough guy. No one really walks through Sean Porter. He takes his pound of flesh. And so when that fight hopefully can get made, hopefully next year, that will be one for the ages. I mean, that is the preeminent fight of boxing right now. It's even bigger than what's his name's fight, Fury and AJ's fight.
You sure?
It's bigger than that fight.
Maybe because I'm a UK man, I think it's Fury versus AJ is gonna be massive. But obviously, I can understand from an American and more of a boxing enthusiast view that why you could appreciate that.
This is the both. If AJ hadn't obviously lost to Ruiz, then that fight would probably be on par. But obviously now AJ's taking his knock. Even though people should use that stick to beat him with, because at heavyweight level, pretty much everyone loses. Apart from Rocky Marciano, who fought in the 40s, 50s. It's like not as nowhere near as competitive as it is today. Not trying to discredit him at all. But
why is it that? Oh, don't worry, I don't want to go into that. Anyway, back to UFC. Khabib, what did you think of the fight?
I mean, I bet on Khabib when he came through for me. I didn't expect him to win in such dominant fashion. You know, he choked him out early second round. Even though apparently, I think officially Gaethje won the first round. Gaethje had some nice strikes.
Gaethje won the first round.
Yeah,
he looked scared. Man. I don't know what it is. Me, not even as a UFC connoisseur, Gaethje looked scared from what I saw. Like he looked like it looked like Khabib was dominating, and yet Gaethje was doing more of. It was doing the leg kicks.
Yeah, the strikes.
He was just making sure that he didn't get into Khabib's like reach, so we can get, you know, once it gets to a grappling match, there's no one gonna. Khabib's gonna always win. There's no way.
When you fight Khabib, you have to fight him on the outside. If you're getting close where he can grapple you and bring you to the ground, it's curtains. And so, but even though apparently Gaethje won that first round, which you could say he did. I mean, when I watched it back, fair enough, he got strikes. Khabib didn't really get a takedown until towards the end, but he was exhausted.
Because he was doing so much.
He was doing so much, but
he was trying to avoid Khabib's.
He was trying to avoid Khabib's, and that's what Khabib does, which all these Eastern Europeans seem to do right now. Him and Lomachenko, Usyk. I was even watching a breakdown. I think it was Tony Bellew was talking about how Usyk basically broke him down, and even though he was winning the fight, Tony Bellew, but by the 6-7 round he was exhausted because they don't put you necessarily under physical pressure as much, wearing you down as much, but they put you under mental pressure, and you have to keep thinking about what they're gonna do. They're always on the front foot. So when someone's always on the front foot like Khabib is as well, you're always worried about what they're gonna do, and it mentally just drains you. And when you're mentally drained, you're physically tired as well. And obviously when you're tired, when you take damage, it's like 10 times as worse. And that's what happened to Gaethje.
It's because Khabib doesn't alter his style for anyone. He's always under attack. I don't think Khabib is altering his style for any fighter in that class. Like what? Why does he need to fight differently when he's the most dominant? What he does better than anyone else.
I mean, I would like to see McGregor, maybe Prime McGregor rematch. But I don't think we'll ever see Prime McGregor again. But
McGregor's not beating him.
Even then, I still think McGregor won't win. But before obviously Khabib retired, and fair enough, he has his right to, of course. I'd like to see him gone up in weight and you know, campaign as a welterweight. You know, the mark of true greatness for fighters, you know, multiple weight champions. That's why for me Khabib won't be greatest of all time. Even though he's one of the greatest, don't get it twisted. For UFC, he won't be number one all time. I mean, you got guys like George St. Pierre, who I believe was welterweight and middleweight champion. You got even Conor McGregor. He was a lightweight, the featherweight and lightweight champion.
How many defenses did McGregor have? Because I think Khabib only has 4.
Khabib has 4.
That's not enough.
John Jones is what people most say is the all-time greatest.
It's just not likable off the outside.
He has like 8. He was the youngest champion. He has like so many title defenses here and there. I mean, he's done a lot. Even though he's only compared at light heavyweight, but he's looking to go up to heavyweight. And then if he wins at heavyweight, then fair enough. I think it'd be undeniable. But my issue with John Jones is that he got caught for drugs, not just steroids, not just cocaine. He
wasn't taking steroids. He was taking cocaine.
No, he got caught for steroids as well. I think that was after the thingy fight.
He banged up Cormier, fam.
He banged up Cormier, but he got caught for a steroid substance. I mean, for me, that's a big mark against you.
Cormier is more marketable than Jones because Cormier is the guy they go to now.
But Cormier is great against everyone apart from John Jones.
Yeah, John Jones.
Talent-wise, John Jones is clear of everyone in those. I think even heavyweight division as well, but Cormier's a likable character.
John Jones, his last 2 recent fights haven't been as dominant wins.
Yeah, but you can't be. That's the thing about UFC which I like. They're always fighting the best, so you won't always be completely dominant against everybody. You know what I mean? It's just the way it is. Like it's a fight game. You fight good fights. You're not gonna coast for everyone. You're gonna have hard fights. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? So
it is what it is, man. I heard. So you're not really buying Khabib being a GOAT.
No, he has GOAT status. You can make a strong case for him, but he's not number one for me. I don't think he will come back because when those guys say they have their word, when they give their word doesn't. It's very extremely rare changing. Like their word is bond.
So there's no amount of money do you think to get?
There's money, but I don't think they're not in it for the money. It's more about faith and honor and that sort of stuff. And I don't see him coming back on his word. I hope he does, but I don't see him doing it.
I think we need to let the dust settle because obviously right now it's very close to the death of his father.
Yeah.
So that's playing a role. And obviously to honour his father, he probably wanted to have this fight and say it's his last. But you know how life is. The longer you're away from something, you might realise how much he loves it, and he might see it as still to honour his father that
in a different way
to continue fighting. That might be another way he sees it because at this moment of time he's grieving. He's still grieving.
Of course. I mean, he said his mum said he shouldn't fight without his father there, and you can't. What's it called? You can't go against mummy's word. I guess so. That's how it goes.
Yeah, we'll see. Do you think his legacy's capped then?
As in, he's one of the greatest, but in terms of as the greatest, if he doesn't win multiple championships at different weights, like as in go up to welterweight, for me, I want you to put him as the greatest. Like, especially with guys like you have GSPs that's done it. Especially in terms of defenses and at the elite level, his career doesn't compare to John Jones in terms of the amount of fights of title defenses. Those 2 guys will be above him for me, just outright. So I mean, the best he can be for me is third.
Third best. So let's move on.
No, he should be in third, like third greatest of all time.
You're disgusting.
Is there? He should be in third greatest of all time.
Yeah, bro. You better ask Pele.
Huh? He's number 1. You better ask Messi.
You better ask Pele.
You better ask Messi.
You better ask Ronaldo, number 10. Ronaldo's not my top 10.
Cristiano.
Yes, not my
I think we should end this pod right now, man. I say Cristiano's
R9 over him.
If R9 didn't get injured, yeah, but R9 got injured. That's a sad story.
R9 over.
Yeah, if R9 didn't get injured, probably over Messi.
No.
If R9 didn't get injured, you probably arguably could have. He was on track to be probably over Pele as well.
Can we not talk about this today? Anyway, I just say R9 over original Ronaldo over the new Ronaldo. That's it.
He's not.
This one is the greatest cheerleader of all time. One is the actual greatest player. That's what it is.
Ronaldo. I mean, his injuries. It's sad.
See him in his Juve top. You see his new trim?
Oh yeah, serious. He's looking serious.
That's the trim you get when you're about to do a madness run. Looking like he looks like a.
So he was upset because obviously he couldn't declare himself negative, so he couldn't play the Champions League game, and he said he called out the test in the PCR, said it's BS.
So what does he want to do? Want to give people COVID? Why because he wants the ball? They would have lost regardless because Barca were at that. That's the best Barca performance I've seen in like the last 2 to 3 years. They ran them boys.
Barca are done, man.
They ran them boys in that game.
We'll talk about Barca later. On to Chisora Usyk, another one from the Eastern European
Del Boy
house.
Del Boy.
You know they've labelled the fight now as the elephant versus the lion. Because if anyone watched the
Chisora's a lion.
No, the face off. obviously, and some reason they got to talk about the King of the Jungle, and everyone naturally thinks the lion is King of the Jungle, but Chisora was like, you know what?
The elephant was stamping.
It's actually an elephant because an elephant can walk to a herd of lions, a herd of lions will run away, which is kind of true, to be fair. Have you ever watched any animal shows?
Elephants are the biggest cause of death in Africa. Yeah, from animals.
And obviously they're gentle giants, so you know.
But Chisora's no elephant, bro.
I mean, hopefully if you can impose his size on Usyk, you never know.
No.
Changing things happened.
The thing is with Del Boy, he's such a likable fighter. He's got so much courage. But at the end of the day, the class of Usyk is gonna...
Of course, for the casual fan.
But I want Chisora to win. To be fair, I'm supporting Chisora in that fight. I hope he does himself proud.
I mean, for the casual fan, they're gonna like a Chisora, but like casual boxing fans and fight fans, they don't like technical fighters because obviously them guys don't always.
Yeah, because you don't slug it out, fam. I want to see some slugging.
Yeah, guys who actually knuckle down and watch it's like guys who casual football fans. They don't like seeing a high quality 0-0. Not like the one Chelsea might have. That was low quality. But you know, that was low quality. But you know, we see a high quality 0-0. Like as a what's called an in-depth football fan, you could actually watch that. And
Did you see the thing I posted about what Janela said?
Oh yeah.
He said that, yeah.
We'll talk about it later.
Well, we'll talk about quality. But as a boxer, some boxers are very robotic in their approach. You know.
Okay.
And that's why we don't appreciate them the way we appreciate it as Chisora, where it's heart, guts.
Yeah.
You know, passion.
But he also got his heart.
And he ends up with him on the floor. But at the end of the day.
That's how people like Frank Bruno.
We want to see man go out like that, because that's how we dream about going out.
It's good that you brought up robotic and versus heart, because that's how people the British probably didn't take a liking to Lennox Lewis, but they love Frank Bruno. You know, Frank Bruno was a loser compared to
his guts.
Yeah, but
his heart and desire. Do you know what people love? They love an underdog.
They do. I've learned to say people just don't like winning as much as they claim to do. They don't.
They like stories.
They don't like winning.
No one likes domination because it's boring.
They don't like winning as much as they claim to.
Think about this: when you play Football Manager and you bang out and you get to the point where you're doing quadruples like nearly every other season, don't you get bored?
Yeah, when I was doing that, I changed. I went to. I was managing Arsenal, became the best manager of all time in terms of the Hall of Fame status. Then went down to Forest Green in League Two, team that never been into the Premier League. Took them up to the Premier League, won the Champions League. I think within 6 seasons. That was a great.
Do you not get bored?
After I've done that, there's nothing else to do. So I just stopped playing.
See, that's what I'm telling you. When you win everything, it gets boring. There's nothing else to do. There's no accomplishment. There's no accomplishment.
That's why people that play for manager, if you stop managing your team, Arsenal and Chelsea, you have limited funds compared to teams like in League Two. Go down to the low leagues, work your way up.
That's what people do.
And grind. But that's what people, when they watch these fighters, they only catch them at their peak. They're not there for the grind at the start. They don't watch their full story. They don't catch them at the latter stage.
It takes time to do that. We want to find you now, man. We're in an immediate society. We want everything now.
Yeah, microwave error. Everyone's too sensitive and.
You want to hear a man's story. There's only some people that we've grown up with on the TV, like play. You see those young players that blossom into superstars. You go up with them. You build a rapport.
I was there for Messi's story. I was there for Ronaldo's story.
I'm there. Don't ride for my guy.
I'm here for Neymar's story.
Don't be there for my boys.
I was there for Messi's story.
Don't be there.
I'm there because I can tell the truth. When people tell fibs.
Were you there?
I've read enough. I'm there for Pele's story as well. I didn't live for it.
Yes or no? True and false. We don't deal with hypotheticals. Were you there for Pele's story?
I didn't live for it, no.
Okay, good.
But I don't need to live for it.
So,
were you there for Muhammad Ali's story? No.
I don't care about Muhammad Ali's story.
Wow. The great story in sports.
Sympathetic because of his public relationships. What he did for the people. Shout out NSARS. You know about that.
It's true.
And other things, Black Lives Matter, things. And all of those things. You know those ones.
Anyways, enough of that political spiel. So Usyk...
Trump or Biden?
I don't give a damn about that. I just don't give a damn about Trump and about Biden, but I said enough of that political spiel because this is not a political podcast.
Okay, Usyk versus...
Usyk 17-0, 13 KOs. Southpaw, 6'3", 78-inch reach. 2020 Olympic gold medalist at the heavyweight division. Obviously, the Olympic level, they have super heavyweights, which is basically the heavyweights of today in terms of Furies and Deontay Wilders and Joshua's the 6'7" beast, behemoth you see today. Chisora, on the other hand, 32 wins, 9 losses, 23 KOs, orthodox, 6'1.5", 74-inch reach. Obviously, he's a natural heavyweight. He's been campaigning at heavyweight. He's always Del Boy. He's going to put that body on Usyk. He's going to sap out his energy. He's going to take his pound of flesh, hopefully. Okay. I hope he does.
So, what's the prediction? Round? And how does it end?
I feel Usyk will win. I think he'll either be points or late stoppage because he'll tire him out. Like I said, that front foot pressure, the mental draining he's gonna do. Because the old boy, he's got a great chin. He does. And Usyk,
Dylan White knocked him to bed.
Yeah, that was like after a slug.
That's a slugfest.
Slugfest, and Dylan
That's
White's
one of the best fights I've watched.
And Dylan White's a natural heavyweight. Usyk has power, which I think.
If Chisora puts a hand on Usyk, it could be dangerous for him.
It could. I think Chisora probably underestimates his power, but I reckon Usyk might catch him late because he's gonna repeated damage and repeated sapping of his energy, the mental draining of energy. Like I said, I thought Usyk should win, but then again, I thought Lomachenko was gonna beat Lopez, even though Lopez is a high quality fighter by comparison than Chisora. But
if they fight again, Lomachenko beats Lopez.
I don't know about that.
He does, because I think Lomachenko started to figure him out as the fight went on.
He did, but yeah, you expect Lomachenko's gonna have he's not gonna get totally outclassed. He's an all-time great fighter, but it's not, you know what I mean. But Lopez figured him out. But I think the size difference and the power that Lopez carries is too much for Lomachenko. And he's got skill set. I don't even think this fight's gonna be that as competitive because it lacks a big factor, which is fans. And once the fans are taking out the Chisora equation, I think he's gonna get pummeled. Not as in physical pummel, but a mental pummeling. Could be. You know those ones where he doesn't even know where the next punch is coming from. But the thing is, it all depends on how much damage he could take. Because I reckon he's gonna see shadows, fam. No, you'll see shadows, but I reckon you'll get his moments where he'll literally take a punch to land a punch. And obviously, his power is more than Usyk's power, so he doesn't mind taking a punch or a jab and to get inside and to really make it interesting. Put his body on him, give him a body punch. But Usyk, he's supremely talented, one of the most talented fighters, pound for pound. You got him, you got Lomachenko, you have what's his name, Tyson Fury as well, Terence Crawford. Those guys they're technically brilliant. You know, footwork. Someone can switch hit. What's it called? It's great jabs, good body punches, speed, accuracy. You know what I mean? Elite condition. I think Usyk's condition will be the telling factor. Unless, even if Del becomes in the best condition of his life, I still think Usyk's condition will be the difference. I mean, I was reading Dave Allen today. He was saying that he's as talented as all the other guys technically, but the main difference is he can do what they can do for 30 seconds, whereas they can do it for 36 minutes. And obviously, that's a huge disparity in time. And so 30 seconds is barely, it's like what? A sixth of a round. Usyk's not getting a chance to fight the big boys in a long time. He's still got to go through White. He's a mandatory to one of AJ's belts, WBO. Is he? Yeah. So he could fight. He could, well, at least campaign to fight AJ next. I think that'll be a bit of a... No, he put on a waiting list because obviously, Deontay Wilder going missing. They're gonna try to fight. What happened to that? We'll talk about it next time. He's just gone missing. He's gone under the radar. I mean, he just gone under the radar. I mean, I'm surprised if he retires next year because the way he's looking, he won't be able to fight either Fury or AJ until end of 2021 because they're gonna do a 2-fight deal, Fury and AJ. So as long as AJ gets through, figure it out. Fam, that's what happens when you talk too much.